So basically, the biggest problem that I actually had with this episode, right? We just talked for over an hour, some really good things. We talked about the missed opportunities, but really the biggest problem that I had with Raw on Netflix was the simple fact that WWE treated this like a massive deal, but they didn't deliver us massive moments. And we understand why. This was not for us. This was not to give us crazy, shocking heel turns. This was basically a way to celebrate WWE's historical change, game changer of a decision, you know, by being on Netflix and everything. But the biggest problem that I actually have is not even the shocking moments. It's the fact that WWE played it very safe. And I feel like sometimes the best content is when you don't play it safe. I remember the first time it was reported that Vince McMahon was not going to be booking WWE Raw, and we turn on to WWE Raw, and Triple H, you know, has the show starting off in chaos, right? It was like, whoa, what the hell is this? Like, we never expected this, right? So I feel like WWE, in a way, while I understand what they did, for people that do watch the WWE product, I think they could have done a little bit more to also cater to us. And I understand that WWE has become such a big mainstream global success
that they don't have to.
But, you know, you're not censoring the crowd. You change the way Raw looks. You're treating this like such a big deal. But at the same time, too, you didn't give me something that necessarily hooked me for next week. However, let me explain that. They gave me 4 announcements: Dakota versus Lyra Valkyria, Priest versus Baylor, Sheamus versus Kaiser, Gable versus Penta. And those 4 matches are exciting and worthy matches for next week on Raw. I'm excited about that. But tonight should have been the night where they said, we're going to give you those promos. We're going to give you all this cool stuff. But let us show you what we can do when we put on a badass card where people could go out there and wrestle. And tonight, there was far more promos and celebrity appearances. There was so much of that. And it
was Hollywood, baby.
I get it. I understand it. I truly understand why they did it. But the biggest problem of this debut episode was that they didn't do enough selling of what their product actually is. They did enough of selling us how cool WWE is and how fantastic their brand is, but they didn't necessarily sell me on the fact that, I mean, bro, like, let's not get it twisted. You have perfect example of this. Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre has their singles match. Wasn't that long of a match. It wasn't the greatest match possible, but you got the amazing entrance, right? You could have done something with it to just leave people wanting more for next week. You didn't do anything with the Rock.
Cliffhangers.
You didn't give us a cliffhanger. Even with Punk beating Rollins, you didn't give us a cliffhanger. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to complain about this on any wrestling show. Your job is to keep me hooked for future episodes. And
facts.
I think WWE did enough to tout about their success and to brag and all these different things. But I don't think they did enough to sell people on, hey, we also deliver a really cool wrestling product. And I was fine with the matches, but did I really need Hulk Hogan on my TV screen?
Probably not.
And by the way, I'm not the only person who thinks he shouldn't have been there. 17,000 people booed his ass. So
get that man off my screen.
This was a spectacle, and I understand it. And that's what WrestleMania is, right? WrestleMania is a spectacle, and this was a mini version of that, and it was tremendous success. And I'm glad that they did a great job with that. And still, I care about what's happening next week because I am a hardcore fan. I care about the women's IC title. I care about Finn Balor and Damian Priest going out there and finally concluding their storyline. Sheamus and Kaiser is a freaking major singles match that people are sleeping on, but that's going to be so fun. And Gable versus Penta, it's going to be massive. But at the same time, too, it's like they kind of just sat there and was like, this is how cool we are. This is what we do so great. And
it's easy for us, and we don't have to do too much more.
Yes, and WWE, you know, will definitely brag. They will definitely brag.
We're going to hear about 20 million people tuned in.
Is that how many viewers do you think they legitimately pulled in on Netflix?
I want to say like 15. I think that was the number I said to
15
my
million?
girlfriend earlier. Yeah, I think they pull in 15.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I have no idea what the number is going to be. I have no idea. However,
Me personally, I don't. I could
yeah,
be overshooting here.
yeah.
So don't, I mean, clip it if you want to and call me crazy. But yeah, no, 15 I thought was like the number in my head where I was like, that wouldn't shock me at all if 15 million people watched this show.
I mean,
At least just popped in.
All I'm saying is whatever the number is, you're going to have a lot of
WWE
people.
is going to talk about it.
They're going to talk about it, right? Because that's how WWE operates. But also, I think this is a very difficult conversation for fans of other wrestling companies who love talking about viewership, because I think it's a different playing field now. Like we can't talk about with Netflix, like, is it accurate, right? We have to trust the numbers they provide us are accurate, but also WWE is a publicly traded company, so I can't imagine them lying about it.
Right.
I know their stock was doing relatively well today. However, if WWE pulled in 10 to 15 million, for example, this is just an example. I don't think the number is going to be that high, but let's just say they did. I think WWE is clearly going to keep doing what they did today. They're going to keep trying to treat their product more like a spectacle. They will never focus on the in-ring stuff because they're going to continue staying focused on this aura, this presentation. But it will be funny having those conversations with wrestling fans. And I think you know what kind of wrestling fans I'm talking about, Billy. But it's going to be really funny when you have to compare numbers between HBO Max and Netflix. And people are going to sit there and talk about this. And listen, at the end of the day, the way I look at this is that streaming companies, it's not television, it's completely different. And to attract viewers to a streaming platform is a very difficult task. So if WWE if they have a very successful and high number, that means the WWE brand is a lot hotter than people realize. And if WWE's number is very low or disappointing, all that coolness that they do, all that cool shit about who we're the WWE and we're cool, that means nothing if your numbers are disappointing. So I look forward to seeing what that is. But like I said, I feel like they did a great episode, but it wasn't good enough for me in order to be like, oh, I would totally watch next week.
Okay, that's fair.
Their announcements did enough. But what they physically put on TV, they didn't leave me a moment with a swerve or a heel turn or something shocking. All the baby faces won. The matches were relatively shorter. A lot of unnecessary stuff was on there. Like I said, Hulk Hogan, sorry, bud, but we just don't care to watch you on our TV. And you know, you have Travis Scott and you have all these different things happening. You have all these celebrities there, and that's cool. But
it just looks fun.
It just looked like a fun event, and it didn't look like a, you know, and by the way, WWE has done a really good job. And I say this all the time. They've done a really good job of ending their shows in a way that make me intrigued to see what happens next week. However, this particular episode, they didn't do that. And I thought that was a little bit more shocking. I felt like that was a big problem.
But but the thing is like fans like us, like, I'm intrigued for next week if we do see Seth Rollins and CM Punk, you know, when are we going to get that? And what happens now? Other than that, if you're just a casual viewer who doesn't know the history of that, then all that was a wrestling match to you.
And one thing too is WWE has to introduce these characters to people. So maybe that's why they didn't do that. Maybe that's why.
Well, Michael Cole talked about that a little bit. He talked about it on the Pat McAfee show where he explained, you know, it's going to be.
Do you think that Gable will make fun of Penta by having someone in a Penta mask, then Pentax will come out?
Sorry about that, Billy. We were interrupted by a $9.99 super chat from Dario Valenzuela. He says, hey, guys, thank you for all that you do. Do you think that Gable will make fun of Penta by having someone in a Penta mask and then Penta will come out? You know, that would be kind of fun.
It would be.
You want to sell masks? You want to sell masks? Make the storyline about like Gable, you know, Gable mimicking or mocking him or something, you know?
Yeah, mocking the mask.
And then you actually have Penta come out, and then, hey, next thing you know, they start selling a shit ton of masks because that's what WWE's going to do.
Oh,
if they don't have Penta masks for sale by next week, Monday, when he debuts, if they don't do it,
we've done this wrong.
Yeah,
we've done this wrong.
Learn from the mistakes AEW made because you can definitely monetize that and make money off of it.
Absolutely.
I don't think that would be the way they're going to do it. I think what's going to happen is Chad Gable's going to come out. He's going to talk his shit on the mic. Lights go out. Fire, flames, pentas, trons will be insane. Pyro will be insane. And
Penta El Zero Mero. across that Tron. I think I got chills.
Yeah, listen, I'm excited for it though. I'm excited, but so here's the thing. I'm excited for Penta's debut next week. I thought it was happening this week, and then WWE was
so
like,
did I.
No,
sorry, pal.
Wait, and I'm like, what?
Again, WWE has always talked about how they're always thinking about the next week. They're always thinking about the next thing. So it seemed like they had tonight planned out in their head, and ultimately they had a goal, and they reached that goal. It probably, we'll find out tomorrow, but it probably did well for them.
Do you feel like they were successful tonight?
Absolutely. I think I'd be wrong to say so. If we're talking about a global scale, absolutely they were successful. If we're talking about you and I wish there could have been a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think when you talk about it from that global scale, yeah, they nailed it on the head. They did exactly what they were supposed to do.
If there was ever a thing that WWE did correctly, and I said this in the beginning of the stream, but if there was one thing that they did correctly, it was the fact that they really appeared like a spectacle. They really, really showed everybody why WWE is different. And that is a massive success for them.